Hello and welcome to Jo Gard's Writing Life. I'm Jo and I'm a writer and script consultant based in the UK, and this is my channel where we talk all about writing. And first of all, I just wanted to address if there's like a weird lighting thing going on with this video. It's a really sunny day outside and the sun is like streaming through the window, and on camera I look like whiter than paper, so I can't seem to get the lighting right. So I've got the curtain closed and a lamp on. You know, what I'm saying counts more than what I'm doing. Anyway, today I wanted to talk to you about the differences between screenplays and novels. Lots of you out there might be working on a short story or a novel, or you might have finished one, and perhaps you're thinking about whether that might be suitable for adaptation into a film. Or perhaps you've got an idea and you're thinking, I'm not sure if this is an idea for a film or an idea for a book. Hopefully, in this video I can tell you a few differences between screenplays and novels, and then you'll be able to decide for yourself which format best suits your idea. There's loads of differences between screenplays and novels, and then of course you've got theatre scripts, and then there's differences between TV plays and films, film scripts. Obviously, you know, that I could go on forever about this, but I'm trying to keep things brief. I've come up with 5 major differences, which I think are like the main ones. They're the ones that came to mind first for me, but obviously bear in mind there probably are other differences that I've missed. Anyway, let's begin. Firstly, as you can see, screenplays generally, you know, they're a lot shorter than novels. If this was a novel manuscript I was holding, it would probably be twice as thick. As it stands, this screenplay is The Invisible Woman by the amazingly talented Abby Morgan. This is 106 pages. A screenplay is normally between about 100 and 120 pages long. Each page counts as a minute of screen time roughly. That's a general rule of thumb. A 2-hour film is roughly, in script form, it's going to be about 120 pages. So that's kind of how we work it out. So scripts, yeah, they tend to be between 100 and 120 pages. Books, on the other hand, you know, the sky's the limit really. They say, I think on Wikipedia, it's anything over 45,000 words counts as a novel. I thought it was 50,000, but I'm not quite sure. But I say upwards of 40,000 words, you're looking at a novel, and really, like I said, the sky's the limit. It can be any length. So that's the first main difference, is screenplays tend to be shorter than novels. The second difference between screenplays and novels is that screenplays are always written in the present tense. So the action is written as if it is happening in the moment as you're reading it. Whereas in a novel it can be, the narrative can be in a first person, it can be in a third person, it can be in the second person. You know, there's even some flexibility there if you wanted to write alternate chapters, one in the first person, one in the third person. Does that make sense? One in the first, yeah, one in the first person, one in the third person. You can alternate between the two, but screenplays, they're just not as flexible. They're pretty regimented documents, and you have to write in the present tense. When someone's reading it, they want to feel as if, wow, they're kind of falling through the pages as it's happening. You want the movie to be playing in their head as they're reading it. So yeah, screenplays, present tense, novels, it's up to you. And the third difference, which kind of leads on from the last one, is that screenplays generally are quicker reads and pacier reads. As we said, they're shorter documents, but also the way that they're laid out, hopefully this will come out on camera. The way that they're laid out, you know, there's lots of white space on the page. Action lines are like 2 or 3 sentences long. There's no big chunks of paragraphs. Any dialogue appears in the centre of the script, and obviously in a conversation the characters are just going to talk back and forth. There's no reason to put he said, she said, they replied, whatever, you know. It just moves down the page as it's happening, so therefore it's much pacier and much quicker. As we said, the general rule of thumb is like a minute a page, a minute of screen time per page. Generally it takes me about 2 hours to read a feature film script, maybe less. So yeah, it's definitely much faster than a novel, even when I'm reading children's fiction, because I read a lot of children's fiction for development. And even when I'm reading children's fiction or novels, it still takes me about a day, maybe 2 days to read that, whereas a screenplay would be a couple of hours. Excuse me. The fourth difference between screenplays and novels is that in screenplays, characters don't talk about their feelings. You can only put down on the page what you can see on screen. So whereas in a novel you might have like an internal monologue, you can have characters saying, oh, she was feeling scared, her heart was pounding. You can write it inner feelings. If your protagonist has got a crush on a girl or a guy and that girl or guy doesn't know it, then you can sort of write all about their turmoil, their inner turmoil and their love, their unrequited love perhaps. You know, all that kind of thing. You can really get inside a character's head in a novel, whereas in a screenplay you have to be a bit more tactful about the choices you make, because you can't have a character saying like, oh, I feel sad, or oh, I'm in love with that person. You have to show it. Film is a visual medium, so if you think about it like that, you can't have characters walking around talking about their feelings. You've got to show how they feel. It's much trickier. There's so many rules and you've got to keep it so lean. But yes, in screenplays characters don't talk about their feelings. In novels they can talk about their feelings, you can give them inner monologues, they can be declaring their love left, right and centre. It's really up to you, there's much more flexibility. Finally, the final difference that I have chosen is a bit of a moany difference, I guess, on my part. So the fifth difference I put is novels don't change. The difference between screenplays and novels is that novels don't change. And by this I mean, when you've written a novel and you've polished it, and maybe you might have had feedback from editors, and yes, you might have had to cut a few chapters or whatever, but when your final draft is finished and you've sent it off to the publishers and they've printed your book and you go and buy it in a shop, what you see in the shop, the book that you pick up in the shop, is not going to be different to the final draft that you sent off, apart from maybe some spelling mistakes will be fixed or whatever, but the story's going to be the same. You're not going to get to the last chapter and find out that suddenly your hero has died, even though you didn't write it like that. Whereas screenplays, you could do that. You could submit a script, a director could look at it and think, oh, this is just an early draft, throw it over his shoulder and do basically whatever the hell he or she wants. And you could end up going to the cinema to watch the film that you've written, and yes, the hero does die at the end, and you did not know before you went in. Films are much more collaborative projects. You as the screenwriter, you write the script and then you hand it over to a director and a team of people who then go and make the film. It's a collaboration of all those different people's visions of the same story, and that's what makes the film at the end. So the film that you have in your mind could be different to the film that the director has in her or his mind when he or she reads it. If you're going to be a screenwriter, you have to kind of accept that once you've finished the script and you've handed it over and you've sold it, you'll probably have to relinquish quite a lot of control over that story. You may get asked to do rewrites, you may not. It really depends on the director and how much they want you involved. So if you don't like people messing with your words, don't be a screenwriter, because people will mess with your words. Anyway, so they are my 5 differences between screenplays and novels. So 1 is screenplays tend to be shorter, around 100-120 pages, whereas novels 45,000 words and up, the sky's the limit. 2, screenplays are always written in present tense, whereas with novels you can have first, second or third person narrative, or you can mess around with the narratives chapter by chapter, but with screenplays they're always in the present tense and the action is written as though it is happening in the moment right now. 3, screenplays are generally faster reads. From the way that they're set out on the page, they read much pacier, and a full-length screenplay could take you a couple of hours to read, whereas a novel could take you a couple of weeks. 4, in screenplays, characters can't talk about how they feel. You have to show it, you have to be clever, you have to think visually. In books, you can talk about how a character thinks or feels. You can write inner monologues, but keep those feelings out of your screenplay. 5, novels generally don't change. Once that final draft has been handed in, that's what you see on the page. However, screenplays, they're open to negotiation, so be prepared to let go of control when you sell or submit your screenplay. And that's the main differences between novels and screenplays. I hope this video has been helpful to some of you out there, perhaps people that are new to screenwriting and not sure where to start. If you like this video and you want to see more, please check out the other videos on my channel and maybe subscribe. I have a short video on formatting your screenplay, so if you're interested in finding out actually what goes on the page in terms of how to format your screenplay, then definitely check that out. If you want to hear more from me, then head over to Instagram at Jo Gard's Writing Life. Also check out my blog for more articles on writing and screenwriting. And I think that's it from me today. Until next time, keep writing. Bye bye.